I put the country flags from a Tokyo 2020 compilation on top of a map of countries participating in the 2024 Olympics. Why? When I was watching the Olympic Parade of Nations, I noticed something really interesting when they got to the African nations. They all have the same three colors: green, yellow, and red in some sort of combination. It's crazy! Mali and Guinea are just mirror images of each other. Senegal is just Mali with a green star on it. And Cameroon is just a rotation of all the colors in Senegal and Ghana. Meanwhile, Ghana is just Senegal rotated on its side. And then you have Benin and Guinea-Bissau, which are just rotating colors again. And you can argue Madagascar gets in on that flag action too. The three colors even reach out to the northern tip of South America and Bolivia. Is it just coincidence that Bolivia, Ghana, and Ethiopia are the same flags with rotations of colors and stars and emblems? I don't know. The only two nations in Europe that use the three colors are Lithuania and Portugal. Did Portugal get around, or did they adopt an older African color scheme? The fourth color I noticed a lot of in Africa was black, such as all these. So if they're not using green or yellow, they might be using black. You can tell nations are near each other because they have similar flag designs, such as Zimbabwe and Mozambique, Sudan and South Sudan, Gabon and Rwanda, or Namibia, Tanzania, and both Congos, who all use this diagonal sash. In the Middle East and North Africa, you'll see a pattern where red, white, and black are featured in mainly Islamic countries, such as Yemen, Iraq, Syria, Egypt, and even Sudan and South Sudan, Libya, and Jordan, Palestine, and Afghanistan. Likewise, all these stands feature the crescent moon, a classic symbol of Islam adopted by the Ottoman Empire, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, and Pakistan. But other countries feature it too, like Turkey, Tunisia, Libya, and Algeria. Mauritania has it on its side, while Singapore and Malaysia feature it too. All these nations feature the triangle, and you can see regional clusters of its use, such as South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique, Sudan and South Sudan, Eritrea, and Djibouti, Jordan and Palestine, who use essentially the same flag, Cuba and Puerto Rico, who also have the same flag but rotate the colors, and they're all similar to Czechia and the Philippines. Guyana is basically an African flag adopting features from Eritrea and Sudan while using the colors of Africa. Jamaica gives me African vibes, but it can also be argued that Jamaica also features this triangle. And by accident, so does the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom gets its flag from a unification between St. Andrew's Cross and St. George's Cross, also known as the Nordic Cross, featured prominently in the flags of Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, the UK, and would you know it? Georgia. Even Greece and Switzerland. Red, white, and blue are colors adopted by the Dutch after their independence from Spain. Propagation of these colors can be attributed to colonization and those pesky East India trading companies. All these American countries featuring red, white, and blue were former colonies of England or the Dutch, including Australia and New Zealand, which is obvious, and Malaysia, who gets its stripes from the East India Trading Company, just like the US. Meanwhile, Ecuador, Colombia, and Venezuela were former colonies of Spain, liberated at the same time by Simón Bolívar, and were once part of a unified, liberated nation that separated into these three nations. Out east, it's my conjecture that all the countries with Japanese influence have a circle in the middle of their flag, while those with Chinese influence have a star. Even Hong Kong. It's curious, though, that North Korea has a circle and a star. However, the use of a single star is featured across all the world. All these nations include a single 5-pointed star as part of their flag. Plus Panama, which has 2. If you include the star bundled with the crescent moon, then you can add all these nations. And if you want to include the stars in the flags with a constellation of the Southern Cross, you can add Australia, New Zealand, and Papua New Guinea. Singapore is just Indonesia with a crescent moon and 5 stars on it, in a different arrangement than China, which features 1 big star surrounded by 4. I keep seeing patterns everywhere. I could lose a whole day to this map. In fact, I've already lost 3. But you tell me, what other patterns are out there? What history do I just not know?